Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I am Michelle. I am 23 years old and I am pregnant with baby number 2. So I actually have a 2-year-old daughter named Ariana. She will be 3 just at the time that this baby will come along. I did have a miscarriage last July, so this will be my rainbow baby. So we're totally praying, totally excited, but very cautious with everything, as if unfortunately you've had a miscarriage also, you know that feeling. So I'm going to first apologize for not updating you guys. I am done with my first trimester. I am exactly 14 weeks today. So I am officially on my second trimester, and I'm going to tell you how my first trimester went and what is going on with the baby. We did have some not so good news at the beginning, so I think that on top of everything that I have going on in life, that made it a little bit harder for me to update you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off by saying that I found out I was pregnant January 13th, I believe. Oh, January 15th. However, I am almost 100% sure I knew I was pregnant January 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that. I can't remember exactly. I think it was the 7th. January 7th, I knew I was pregnant. Like, there was something in me that said, wow, this is the time. And a little background, we had been trying for a couple of months now. I think we had tried for 3 or 4 months. And then this month I had actually told Eric that we were no longer going to be trying, because I am a teacher, so I wanted to have a summer baby so I wouldn't have any days off of school. So this month we weren't trying anymore because I knew it was going to be September, so that was going to be like, oh, beginning of the year. So we had decided not to, but we know when it happened, and we were like, oh, it's okay. Like, I mean, we tried for 3 months, it didn't happen, so it probably won't happen this month again. And surprise, it did happen. So of course we're super excited, because, you know, like, inside of us we were like, of course we still want to have a baby. So we were pretty excited when we found out. So it was pretty great. So I found out on January 15th. Like I said, I knew like a week before that, just because I had the peeing at night started that early. And I do go to the restroom a lot, but don't really wake up at night just to go pee. And I had started to go pee. I had started to feel like nauseous or not very hungry. And that is something very weird, because with my first pregnancy, if you are new, or I mean, if you're an old subscriber from back in the day when I had her and you saw all of my pregnancy updates, you know, I pretty much had no symptoms with her. So it was such an easy pregnancy. The end was rough, but the beginning was fine. You know, like, I was basically my normal self. And with this pregnancy, it started very early on. I was totally not myself. So I had like that nausea. I was extremely tired. Like I mentioned, I am a teacher, so I would get home like 5:30, and I had no energy to cook anything, so I would just stop and buy things. On the other side, I had been like extra busier at work, so that could have had an effect on it, but I was just tired after that. So I would stop and get something to eat, not the healthiest, and then we would eat like at 6. By 7, I was so tired. Like, I did not even want to play with Ariana. I did not want to plan for the next day, but I had to. And by 8, I was gone. I was totally passed out. I was asleep. Like, I couldn't go past 8. So that happened for about a month. And so like around 8 weeks, 9 weeks, probably even more. It might have been longer than a month. I was just so tired. I had to go to sleep, and I would go to sleep at 8. And that was like, oh gosh, I can't do this. So that my fatigue was totally there. Unfortunately, I didn't get tired in the day, and it might be just because I'm so busy teaching or doing whatever that I wasn't like sleepy or anything, because with Ariana I would have to take a nap like out too, But you know, I had the time, I had no one to take care of. I was at home because it was basically during the summer. So I took my naps, right? This time around, I obviously can't do that. But yeah, so I was very tired. I was nauseous. Have been, and I am still throwing up basically every single day, at night usually. So I don't have necessarily the morning sickness. I do sometimes. I have like a maybe morning sickness, maybe not, but I have like night sickness every single day. I don't get nauseous in the middle of the day, so like during lunch, I don't. I have only thrown up twice during lunch, but in the morning, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. At night, it's a every single day type thing, basically. I think I haven't like thrown up like 4 days since I've been pregnant. So with that, I have lost weight. If you followed my pregnancy with Ariana, I was high risk because I was overweight, and let me tell you that this time I will probably also be high risk, not only because I'm overweight and I'm even more overweight than whenever I had Ariana, but also because I did have her at 37 weeks because of different things, and I did switch OBs. So she's kind of this. We're gonna go through the pregnancy and decide, but more than likely, I am going to be high risk also because I had a subachronic hematoma found at my 9-week ultrasound, which I will get into a little bit later. But I did have that, so that added plus all my other symptoms. Sorry. That added plus everything else with Ariana's pregnancy, I will more than likely be high risk on top of being overweight. So with that, I guess I'll go ahead and tell you. I started the pregnancy off at 192.7 with all of the throwing up, nauseous. Like, I am basically almost never hungry. If I am, I eat like very small portions because I just get full really fast. So I have lost 11 pounds. So now I'm down to 181, which I guess is a good thing, because I can't really gain that much. However, I don't know. I still feel like I shouldn't have lost all of this weight, right? I don't know. But baby is measuring right on time. It actually was measuring a couple days ahead whenever I had my first ultrasound. So my due date did get changed. So I am due September 15, 4 days before Ariana's birthday. So I'm excited to see if I get full term and how close they really are. I really am kind of praying and hoping that they are not born on the same day, because I feel like they need at least their own day, even if it's a day after or a day before. But I really want them to have their own special day for their birthday. But who knows, whatever God decides, right? So with that, so I had morning sickness, night sickness, I had fatigue. I also had what I believe is the pregnancy flu or pregnancy fever or something like that. I think it's something like that, because I was basically sick my first 2 months of pregnancy. So up until like 9 weeks, 10 weeks basically. So that might have even been longer. I don't know. Between 8 and 10 weeks, like the whole time before that, I was basically sick with like some sort of cold, pregnancy cold. I think that's what it's called. I don't know, something like that. But I was basically sick. Like there was something wrong with my congestion, like my nose, my throat, my ears. There was something wrong over here. Like I was very nasally that whole time. And I mean, it was during like flu season, and I live in Texas, and it was pretty bad here in Texas. So that could have been something with it. I did not get the flu though, because I did get tested for it, since my daughter did end up getting the flu this year. So I was with her for like a week, so we were very scared of me getting it. And then I did have a couple more symptoms. Basically 2 days after she was like symptom free, so I did go get tested, but I was negative, so it was just a cold. So I did get that. It was pretty bad. My first 2 months were horrible. Almost all 3 months have been horrible. So on top of fatigue, on top of morning sickness, that is an all day sickness basically, and colds, I was also suffering from headaches. So I have migraines. I suffer from migraines, and when I got pregnant with Ariana, they told me migraines with pregnancy, you can either have the worst migraine you've ever had, or they can totally disappear. So with her, I was lucky, did not have a migraine at all. I think I had like one headache, and I know it wasn't a migraine throughout my whole pregnancy. So that was great. In this case, all up until 10 weeks, 11 weeks of pregnancy, I had a headache every single day. And I don't think it was a migraine, because I know what migraines feel like. And I read into Google and stuff, and I think they're called tension headaches, where like it would hurt here and then like the back of my neck, and that was basically an everyday thing. So I think that had a lot to do with me having to go to sleep at 8. But yeah, so I had pretty bad headaches, and that was not good. So to wrap up my first semester with symptoms, they were horrible. I felt awful. This is what I expected pregnancy to feel like the first time around. So in a sense, I am very glad actually that I had all these symptoms, because every time I would throw up, or every time my head hurted, or anytime I felt nauseous or anything, or tired, it kind of reassured me that baby was doing fine. And of course, miscarriage was always in my mind, just because I've had one already. So feeling so awful kind of felt amazing, because I knew that baby was good, you know? So even though I hated being sick at the moment when it was happening, like 3 seconds later, I was like, oh, thank you, baby. Thank you for making me know you're there. So that happened my first trimester. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about my doctor's appointments right now, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the subachronic hematoma, which is basically a blood clot that I had in my first trimester, and how dangerous it could have been, and how scared I was of it. So I went into my first appointment on February 5th, but that was only for like blood work and confirming that I was pregnant. On February 13th, I went in at 9 weeks for my first ultrasound, and I was actually 9 weeks 5 days, and the baby was measuring 9 weeks and a half, or something like that. I don't know. I have 9 weeks 5 and a half. I don't know. So basically, baby was 9 weeks and a half. I was 9 weeks and a half, and the baby was measuring 9 weeks and 5 days. I think that's what it was, because I was measuring ahead. So baby, we saw a good heartbeat. It had an 183 heartbeat, and then everything seemed fine. I was a little skeptical. I'm checking which one it is, because like I saw the heartbeat. We didn't get to hear it. I don't know why she didn't turn it on, but I did get to see it. However, if you can tell from the pictures, something that I did notice as we were looking through it was that it didn't have a lot, like the sac was not very, like, I feel like the baby did not have enough room in there. Like, I feel like with Ariana, at first, like, the sac there's so much black spots, like all over here. There should be so much black, and I didn't see that with this baby. So I kind of thought that something was wrong, but you know, I didn't ask and then didn't say anything. And one thing I do not like about this OB office that I'm going to, because I did have to change because of insurance, was that here I see the ultrasound or sonogram tech person one day, and then I don't talk to my OB about the results till a long time from afterwards. So I do not appreciate that a lot, but I mean, I love the people, I love everyone, they're doing amazing. I just kind of wish that I would talk about the results pretty fast, you know, like that same day, or like a couple of days go in and talk about it, instead of here where it was like 3 weeks after, or 2 weeks after, where I found out that at that 9-week ultrasound they had discovered a subchronic hematoma, which was basically a blood clot, and that it was 3 centimeters big, and my OB said that that was pretty big for 9 months. Afterwards, I googled it, and Google says it's not, or like all the people say it's not. But she was pretty, like, she was like, oh, like, it's something that's very common, it happens to a lot of people, but yours is really big. Like, that's basically how she said it. And then she wanted me to get tested for Down syndrome, just because that blood clot can lead or can be a cause of it. They're not sure. It could be related, it couldn't be, but it wouldn't hurt to test. So that was definitely like a heartbreak. I was very scared. I was very nervous. She did tell me that a SCH, which some people call, is also very relatable to miscarriages. So that since it is a blood clot, and then with it sometimes you will bleed. So that bleeding you would bleed like dark blood or old blood or whatever, and then that could result in more bleeding that could end up in a miscarriage. So I was told if I had been bleeding, and I hadn't had any bleeding throughout my whole pregnancy. So at this time, whenever she told me about this, I was like 11 weeks and something. And so I was like, no, I have not bled. And I was kind of like, if you found this out at 9 weeks, why didn't you tell me? But so she just sent me off to an NT scan that I would have on at 13 weeks, 5 days. So basically 10 days after I saw her. So that was scary. She was like, she didn't seem as worried, but then she kind of did. So that day, she did use a Doppler, and we couldn't find the heartbeat, or she couldn't find the heartbeat, probably because of my weight. So we did a quick ultrasound, and we saw the baby. It had a heartbeat. It's like, here's the face, and it was waving to us. Hands over here. If you can tell, it's like this. So it was moving a lot, so that was reassuring. And then I think this was the subchronic hematoma over here. I'm not sure. But I think at this ultrasound, that's where it is. And as you can see, there's still not a lot of like fluid or black space around the baby. So that was a little bit worrisome. So she sent me off. I guess, I don't know. So I went home, I Googled, I asked people online, and of course they said, oh, that a lot of people are on bed rest or like pelvic rest, and my OB just said, take it easy. That's it. Like, remember, you're not supposed to lift anything bigger than 20 pounds or heavier than 20 pounds, like normal pregnancy things. And I'm like worrying, I'm like, should I be in the bed rest? Like, what? So a lot of the people that were put on bed rest were because of they were actually bleeding already. So I was kind of like, do I like just take it on my own so I don't start bleeding and stuff? So that was very worrisome. We did have a spring break trip planned for Ariana. We went ahead and took her to SeaWorld just because we wanted her to have like a good vacation before I get all big and more tired than I am and stuff. So we were going to be walking a lot, so I was a little bit worried, but I know that my OB said as long as there's no bleeding, everything's fine. And even if there is, it's okay as long as it's not like heavy bleeding. So I was obviously checking for blood every time I went to the restroom, and luckily I never got any. So March 15, a couple of days ago, so 2-3 days ago, got here, and I was 13 weeks, 5 days. I went in for my NT scan, which basically they measure the back of the baby's neck to see how much fluid there is, because that could be, if there's too much fluid, that could be an indicator that the baby might have Down syndrome. And then they also check for a nose bone, because that's also another indicator of Down syndrome. So my technician checked, and the baby had a measurement of 1.8 millimeters of fluid, which was perfect. They're supposed to have between 1.5 and 3. I think it's normal, and then anything above that is marked abnormal, or I think 3.5 is still fine if it's late in the game. But so mine was perfect, so she says that looks good. We found and saw a nasal bone, so she said that was awesome. This only literally took like 8 minutes, and she was like, oh, good, you're good. And then so I obviously asked, I was like, hey, so what does this mean? And then she said that I still did have to get blood work done because it's part of it, but from her end everything looks like it's fine. Of course, this is the ultrasound lady who never told me I had a subachronic hematoma, but I mean, she said it looked fine, that I am probably fine, but we do need the blood work to go with it before they give us a result, and then I won't see my doctor for another 3 weeks. So I won't really know what the results are till then, but I mean, she said everything looked fine. We got a heartbeat that day of 154. So everything was fine. She thinks everything was fine. Good news was that I did not have the subachronic hematoma anymore. So I did ask about that because I was like, I want to know. So here's the baby. They're more of like, what way is it facing? Oh, this way. So the face over here, the arms right there. This baby loves showing us their arms. And here's the other one. So it's kind of like here, and then there's the hand. And those are basically all of them. So, yeah, the SCH is gone, so that's a good thing. So I should have no more I should have no bleeding at all. And everything looks fine. I just have to wait for like the chances of a baby with chromosome abnormalities, but I'm feeling much better. I think the time before, where I was going into like those 2 weeks of me waiting for an NT scan, were a little bit scary. Yes, I had a few meltdowns, but you know what? Either way, this is my baby and we're gonna love it either way. But I am feeling a lot better now, so that's good. Yeah, so I have only told my mom that I am pregnant just because I was waiting for like the 12 weeks, but then at the 11 week, when they told me about that, I was like, hey, I kind of want to wait for my subachronic hematoma to be gone, just because of the risk that it carries. So we hadn't told anyone. We are going to start telling other people now, just because I feel much safer, and we are in the second trimester and everything, so I think we're pretty clear. So we're gonna go ahead and start telling people. I'm very excited because, you know, my family has been asking for it already, and we're thrilled to have our rainbow baby soon, hopefully. Not super soon, obviously. I really do want to have this baby full term or closer to full term, so I would love, my goal is to get to at least 39 weeks. So I am doing the most that I can to have a healthy baby. So we're gonna keep praying that this is a healthy baby. I will update you when I get the results of my blood work and stuff. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I feel like waiting this long to tell people is just it being closer to us finding out the gender, which I'm totally excited about. I have no preference, but I am very excited. So this video became really long. I know it's a first trimester update, so there was a lot to talk about. I will hopefully be doing these every week, just like I did with Ariana. So I hope you stick around if you are new or if you are an oldie. I am so thankful you're still around, and thanks so much for watching. I will go ahead and go show you my belly, and I will say bye after that. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to keep you I'm forgetting how to record myself. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to keep updated on this pregnancy, and thanks so much. I will see you next time up to the belly shot. Okay, so here's my belly. It's obviously pure fat at this time, but yeah, this is what it's looking like. Obviously it's kind of hard over here, but up down here it's not. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.